Welcome to the Foothills, a Colorado lifestyle and real estate podcast featuring mountain home real estate broker Robert Martin, who has over 25 years of experience assisting clients reach their goals and move forward. Tune in each week for a dynamic conversation with experts, Colorado adventurers, and residents that explores the ins, outs, and specific nuances of buying the perfect mountain home or selling your dream home in Evergreen, Conifer, Bailey, and surrounding areas to catch a glimpse into the Colorado lifestyle that's a part of you.
Welcome to the podcast. Our guest today is professional home stager Marty Nickoley. A native of the Chicago area, Marty has always had a creative bent. 12 years ago, she became intrigued with the interior design and real estate staging industry, and after seminars and certification, became a staging consultant. Marty has successfully staged many homes for us and has a strong affinity for excellent service and having an intimate working relationship with her clients. Her specialty is staging occupied homes, and it has been met with great success for a quick sale at top dollar. Marty and her husband enjoy the outdoor lifestyle of cross-country skiing, hiking, and cycling. So tell me about yourself and your background.
Well, very many moons ago, I was a graphic designer, commercial artist. I went to SMU, and that was my my Bachelor of Fine Arts degree, and I worked in Chicago. And way back then, no one was sitting behind a computer. We were doing everything by hand, the illustration, the key lining, all the product information, and I loved it. But then children came along after I was married, and we moved to Denver. I was originally from Chicago, and we actually moved up to Evergreen, which I would love to talk about later. But the aspect of just doing some just the freelance art while the kids were coming along, that was great. But then I realized I would need to go back to school in order to be able to keep up with the big boys for commercial art and graphic design. So once I did as much as I could to be a mama and a good wife, I decided to really pursue the aspect of interior design. I love the three-dimensional aspect of home and design and redesign. And I just found that I really didn't want to go back to school for graphic design and commercial art because I'm a people person and I didn't want to sit behind a computer all day. So I had a very dear friend that ended up going and getting her certification in staging. And when she told me that, I said, "Is that theater?" And that was about 20 years ago. I didn't even know what staging was as far as home design, preparation for sale. And so that was very intriguing to me. So I did it as well and got my certification about 16 years ago now, and through different seminars and tons of experience. And again, I even got a certification in life coaching, not necessarily to help couples that are trying to figure out how to prepare and sell their home, but it's come in handy. So it's been a great full circle for me.
Well, I've watched the work, and I know that your interaction with the clients is top notch, and it certainly does help because there has to be it's a team sport, so to speak. And sometimes people, they have an idea of what they think is going to be good, and the amount of effort they put into it, helps. And the more they can do, the better. And I always say you always give people homework to work on and do things. So just having that good rapport, and they understand that, hey, let's do the best we can with what you can do in the time frame that you can do it, and try to move forward and make it work the best. So when you came out, why did you decide to move to Colorado from Chicago?
Well, Mom, I tell you what, my husband was a native of Colorado. Not that he had anything to do with that, but
Right.
he's kind of rare in that regard to be a native. And so we initially moved to the Denver area, kind of close to Cherry Creek. And then it was just a matter of time where he was invited to actually be a pastor in Evergreen. So up we went to Evergreen, and it was an exciting time. It was a new church, and I just had one child at the time, and I was a stay-at-home mom. And honestly, moving up to Evergreen was a dream, just a dream, because it opened a brand new world for me. Coming from Chicago, I did not come from a family that liked to camp or be outside. I mean, we went to lakes and we skied, but that's about, all we did as far as outdoors activities. And it opened up this outdoor world with the mountains and the skiing and the cross country skiing and the hiking and the camping. And we started our kids out young. And I was just thrilled with the whole thing. And being in Evergreen, I thought was perfect. Half an hour to get to Denver, just do the I-70 shoot. And then about 45 minutes up to Loveland, to take the kids skiing when they were little. Great place to teach them there. So from there, I started hiking 13ers, 14ers, have probably done about 20% of the 13ers, and I'm about 8 to 10 shy of 14ers. It just became such a beautiful pastime. And then we started dragging the kids along as well. And then the skiing, and I'm telling you, Robert, it was, it was just the best. And I, just couldn't even imagine living anywhere else. Yeah. Being up there decades. So,
Yeah, you probably didn't see that coming when you moved, but it became your lifestyle. I hear that from lots of people, Marty, clients and just residents and folks we know, neighbors. It's just the peaceful, the serenity feeling that you have up here. And then like you said, the proximity to outdoor activities and the city. It's very, very, very easy to get anywhere. You mentioned 13ers and 14s. So I've heard in the past that 13ers aren't quite as crowded.
Oh, no, they're not at all. So if you get lost, you may not be found by anyone. So it's important that you have all your compasses and all your safety equipment so that you actually do know how to get up and get down. You absolutely need, the 13er guidelines, because the trails are not as, as prevalent. And you'll see a lot more cairns. If you know what a cairn is, you'll put the rock by the side of the trail, and a lot of people do that so that they can navigate their way up. And when you're tired, you can navigate back down again. But I even with 13ers and some 14ers, you'd find out that you were just maybe you couldn't find the trailhead or the weather turned. So I've done many, many scouting trips that did not mean that I bagged a peak. So, but that's okay. Nice just to go over a pass, and we've done snowshoeing and even some cross-country skiing with the skins on it, so that you can make your way up a trail even in the snow, and then you can ditch those and then just pick them up on the way down. So it's been quite the adventure.
Yeah, that's great. I think just getting out there like you've done over the years, you started out with not a lot of experience, and over time you got more comfortable and confident. And I find that's true with a lot of people. Just over a period of time, it just lifestyle had become a part of the nature that we live in here. So for those that don't know, Marty, can you explain what a staging consultant does?
Well, I can now. 15 years later, I can now, so that's good.
That's good.
Yeah, starting out with actually the company is called White Orchid Interiors, is where I first started out, and we did everything full bore. We did the packing, we did the decluttering, we did that, and we found that it was not only time intensive, but it was more costly to the client. So not only did we do that, but we would bring in furniture, the whole shebang, and do fill-ins or, push things around. So that went on for maybe about 2 or 3 years. And White Orchid eventually decided to go only doing vacants. So staging is kind of in two categories. You have stagers and professional designers that have resources, or else they have their own warehouses of furniture, decor, area rugs, all the stuff. And then they bring that into a vacant home and stage it. There's different packages that they can choose from. But even when I was working with White Orchid, I mean, I actually still do some freelance with them. But I also have my own company, which I'll explain in just a minute. But the aspect of vacant staging became much more lucrative for them when they just bought their own rental furniture and then rented it out. So it became, they had packages, but at the same time, they also won, the staging competitions and so forth in Parade of Homes. And so that's kind of the big wig vacant staging realm. And where White Orchid, they found out that they eventually needed occupied help again. They got a lot of people that would call them because they were very present in the Highlands Ranch and finally the Denver metro area. And they needed a lot of people. They didn't want to get rid of all their furniture in order to sell their home. More people began to stay in their homes while they were looking for a home maybe far away or even close by. So they didn't want to vacate their homes. So that's when I was very intrigued with the occupied aspect of it, because if you do a vacant staging, you don't spend hardly any time with the client. You just spend time with the realtor and trying to figure out what needs to happen. And I just found that I became a little starved in the people area. I wanted to be able to have a design sense as long as I could also be really helping and assisting and supporting clients for realtors. A lot of times occupied stagers, and when I say occupied, these are homes that the people are living in it. You're dealing with the furniture that's already there. But along with the realtor, we become a team. Again, a lot of people would think that a stager could be that bad cop, that the realtor is like, well, I don't want to tell them what to do, or if this looks bad. And it's like, well, you don't really have to do that. You can do it in a way that is supportive for them and helps them to understand that I'm not doing design work for you personally, but we are preparing the home, your home, to meet a variety of buyers. And so that could be taking it from traditional to modern and make it more transitional. And transitional just has that, it's not boring, it's not neutral, but it's the kind of aspects where it may mean you have to take furniture and personal style out of the home and just store it and make it so that the architectural features show, so that the rooms are visually open, natural light and bright. And I tell you what, in the foothills and the mountains, you want those windows to be like artwork. Mm-hmm. So we tend to take away the blinds or the heavy drapes so that you can see outside. You can see the deer, you can see the fox and the beautiful rock outcroppings in the trees. So that's the beauty of being able to stage in the foothills, particularly.
Well, I've seen you work, and I know that you take what exists and make the very best of it. It's not something, it really depends upon what folks want to do and their threshold, if they want to bring in some other things. But generally, it's taking, their home and highlighting the features of their home with not really changing that much. And you do an exceptional job of that.
Thank you so much.
Congratulate you on that.
I really appreciate that. I love it.
Yeah,
I just love it. And it's like a puzzle. Every single home is different. Every client is unique. And I love the relationship that comes from that, because I tell you what, if people don't feel respected and heard and supported, they're not going to do what I'm going to appeal to them to do in order to have that home sell quickly and for that top price point, which everybody wants. But it's a matter of having them understand what it means to prepare their home for staging and for the MLS photos. Mm-hmm. If the photos don't look good, nobody's going to walk in and you're not going to have successful showings. That's for sure.
Yeah, it is so critical to have the best photos you can. Put your best foot forward when you start out. This is a silly question, and you've already somewhat answered it, but why is it so important to have your home staged when you're selling it? Obviously, you want to, get that highest price you possibly can.
I think the biggest thing that I have seen through the years is that if the home is sold as is, maybe they cleaned it or had it cleaned, there's going to have people coming in and looking around, and they aren't able to imagine their lifestyle, their furnishings, their dining room table, their sectional in the space,
Gotcha.
because the rooms could be crowded. There could be so much wall art on the walls that they can't see the space. So you're already presenting a resistance to prospective buyers that want to see themselves in your home. So you have to embrace the move. And if clients are hesitant to embrace the move, then it's going to be more difficult to prepare that home. And you're going to end up probably listing for a long time, a much longer period of time. You may have to decrease the price point of the listing, which is such a discouragement. And honestly, it hasn't happened much in the last couple of years because of the market. But at the same time, it still can. So if the home is looking again so that it's meeting a wide variety of buyers, you're going to have successful showings, and you're going to have a sense of, wow, this feels turnkey. You probably, there are times I've never had to come in and say this entire kitchen needs to be remodeled. That's very rare. But sometimes some good cosmetic work needs to happen. Fresh paint, possibly a new backsplash, possibly new appliances. And that may feel like, will this really have that positive return for investment? But it always does. It always does. And if you have a designer like myself, or somebody that's worked in the more architectural realm of design that you've worked with, then that will meet itself in a positive return on investment, and you can sell it for a higher price point, and it won't be on the market for very long. And if you want bidding wars, let's get it staged.
Yeah, for sure. One thing I want to interject is, I'm not sure you're aware, Marty, but Compass has a program called Compass Concierge, where they will actually front the money for those repairs for staging if they wanted to bring in some pieces of furniture, or if they wanted to do those things you mentioned, just some small cosmetic upgrades, or even bigger ones, because at times it could be, something substantial that needs to be done. And the way it works is that money is fronted, there's no interest, and then it comes out of proceeds at closing. So it's really an incredibly powerful program. I just thought I'd bring that to your attention if you're not aware of that.
You know what? I am aware of that. I am excited that you mentioned that, because I've worked with 2 Compass realtors already that did that very thing. Because there were just some aspects where even the realtor said and promoted along with me that this would be the way to go. And you don't have to have the money up front. And to be able to have that concierge program is just outstanding. One of the best things that I've heard about, truly, with Compass, that helps me and it helps the client, so that we already have a game plan if we do have to put a little bit more investment into it. So I think that's outstanding.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's a really smooth transition to getting everything taken care of, like you mentioned. So you decided to become a certified life coach. And how has that complemented your staging consultations?
I have become a better listener. In everything that I do in conversation, I really want clients to know that I'm not coming in as a hoity-toity interior designer stager. They need to know that I am coming in to listen to everything that could be a burden to them as far as moving. I think what's been amazing to me, when you think about, oh, you're coming in and you're working on the home and all of that, when you meet clients, I would say that probably 70% of the clients that I meet are going through some sort of hardship. It's either they're retiring, they've been in their homes for a long time, they're sad to go, they don't want to have to get rid of their heirloom pieces and all of that. We have to work through all of that. There could be a death in the family. It could be a divorce. It could be any number of things where they have to downsize and they didn't want to. Or anyway, with those hardships, you have to take it slow, and you have to be very empathetic and sympathetic to the clients. And that's the beauty of it. I have really found that I enjoy helping people through hard times. That's what I found out that I really, really enjoy. I mean, it's wonderful if it's a family that they're moving on up and they're excited about their next big house and they're having kids. That's awesome. But like I said, most people, when they're moving, they're going through some tough times and there's some burdens. And I'm very thankful that I've been given the skills now, even more so, to be able to come alongside.
I could say that you could say that's your why. I mean, that's why you do it. I've seen you immediately, develop rapport with people. And like I said, it's a team effort, and it just collectively helps everything move forward, and it makes the process so much easier, because they might not be at ease when they come and they're like, what's she going to say? What do we have to do? And you
Absolutely.
kind of, extinguish that right away. So can you talk about what it's like to buy or sell a home in the Foothills in the Evergreen area?
I have seen, and I think that this is an incredibly good thing. I mean, I know a lot of people that have been around Evergreen for a long time, like myself. It's the old, this is our town, we don't want anybody moving in, like, where's the old Evergreen and that type of thing. But I think Evergreen and other foothill communities have really embraced the old town feel, as well as giving it an enlarged version as well. I think they've done a really good job with that. That being said, the last few years, 2 or 3 years with this whole pandemic thing, there was such a huge movement for young couples and professionals to stay in the city or the surrounding area. And what I have seen in the last couple of years is that the Foothills community, and Evergreen in particular, since that's where I spend my time, I have seen more young families and couples moving up because they don't want to be in crowded apartments. They don't want to be that close to people. And that part's kind of sad, but at the same time, they can go to Denver. They can get to those, the stadiums and the concerts. And at the same time, have a home that's on a half an acre or an acre, still in a neighborhood, still in a community. So, and just the welcoming feel of tons of things going on in Evergreen as well, Evergreen conifer. So that's the shift that I saw, is that where there was a time where I didn't see a lot of young families coming up to Evergreen, I do now. They're everywhere. And they want to raise their families there, where before it was a lot more just the Denver metro and the suburbs. And they're like, no, this Foothills is amazing. And the I-70 corridor is so easy. So just up and down we go.
Well, it's like you said earlier, Marty, the reason what happened when you moved, it's a lifestyle thing, and it was an incredible place to raise your family. So if you were sitting down with some young folks, or anyone for that matter, what would you tell them? What are some things they would want to consider when purchasing a mountain home? Maybe some practical things and just some things that you picked up over the years.
Well, I tell you, coming full circle at the very beginning, just talking about, I didn't even realize that I was such an outdoor person, and that we could raise our children in the great outdoors of Colorado. Accessible, you're already in the foothills. So all of the fun places that you'd want to go, to Summit County, to Eagle County, to camp, it's at your doorstep. It's another 45 minutes that you don't have to go if you're down in the city or in the suburbs. And it's just the beauty of being able to know that even if you do work in Denver or Golden or Morrison in that area, you're home in 20 minutes. And I remember coming up, I mean, all the time for decades, going up I-70 and saying, I'm going home now. I can get out of the city. I'm going to a peaceful, happy place. And when I'm rounding the corner, you see herds of elk, in Elk Meadow, and going up to Mount Evans, which is literally, again, a half an hour from Evergreen. You've got a 13er right there. Well, you do, and 14ers. It's all right there. So just that aspect where it is a lifestyle that people find that they will embrace, that maybe they didn't even know what it meant. But it's just the beauty of waking up every morning. And I know we have a meadow, for decades that we looked down over our home, and we had horses down there, and we had coyotes and fox, and you can watch the elk sparring and hearing them go, ee! I mean, where do you get that? But in the foothills. So I just really believe that it really is a lifestyle and an environment where the community feels small enough though to get to know people. I know dear friends that are working within the community as volunteers in ways that you can't do down in the neighborhoods and suburbs in Denver. So it really does have a community feel.
Yeah, it certainly does, a small town feel. And something you said is, I think it's a part of all of us. There's a part of us that, we don't really realize how much we're a part of all of this. And when you live here, it just, like you said, you started hiking a lot more than you ever maybe thought you would. And just became part of your lifestyle because it was where you lived and it was close and it was something you enjoyed. And I'm sure you got a lot of satisfaction and joy out of it too. So,
well, it keeps you fit, and you can hop on a bike and go up Highway 103 and see whether you're ready to do some of the bicycle challenges as well. So it's just
for sure,
right there at your fingertips.
So what would you say your favorite thing? If there's one thing, what was your favorite? What is your favorite about living in the Evergreen area?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I will tell you one thing then. There is a sense of being able to fully enjoy all 4 seasons. In the wintertime, it's gorgeous. It's stunning. Yes, you probably have to have a 4-wheel drive vehicle, but that's the nature of the lifestyle. But you can also, have a wood burning fireplace, and you can hunker down and enjoy that aspect. And then in the summer, everything blooms and it opens up. Fall could not be more beautiful with the yellow golden aspen, and to go up and over passes again that are only 15 minutes away. And just every season is special. And I feel like we feel that more inherently when you're in the foothills. So I probably have to say the changing seasons.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's awesome. I too, we are very fortunate that we have a property where we get sunrises and sunsets, and holy cow, is that ever nice every day and every evening. There's just so many other things, and I'm sure everybody has specific things with their place that they have great fond memories of too. Well, where can the audience go to learn more about you, Marty?
Oh, wonderful. I had mentioned White Orchid Interiors, and they can certainly use that for vacants because I still refer them, doing freelance work with them. But also with Staging Today is my occupied staging business, and it's stagingtoday.com, where you can go to my website and see some before and after and a little bit about me, and you can contact me there as well. But I'm happy to, should I give out my telephone number? Because they can certainly contact me.
Yeah, that's totally fine. You bet.
You bet. It's 303-526-8066. You can text me or give me a call, leave a voicemail there. Would love to chat with anybody that's getting ready to sell. And Robert and I can help you. That's for sure.
Yes, indeed. We definitely can. And if you do want to reach out to Marty, and you can always contact me and we can get you set up that way. Anything you'd like to add, Marty?
Oh, I just appreciate being able to have this conversation with you, Robert, and I really want to give all due respect and honor to my friend Robert Martin here, because he's a fantastic realtor and encourages people so much along the way, and has compassion for what they're going through, but also such a professional in being able to know the Foothills area so well. So it's always a pleasure when he gives me a call and says, "Hey, I've got a house for you," and then we just get on.
Thank you, Marty, very much. I
Thank you.
appreciate that. And I also very much appreciate you being on the show today. Thank you.
Yeah, what a privilege. Thank you. Have a good one.
To the Foothills, a Colorado lifestyle and real estate podcast. On the podcast, I interview real estate experts, Colorado adventurers, and residents who enjoy the serenity and lifestyle of living in our mountain communities. Tune in each week for a conversation that explores the ins and outs of buying the perfect mountain home or selling your dream home, and catch a glimpse into the Colorado lifestyle that's a part of you.